6/8 funk obviously comes from because the time signature's in 6/8, but the spelling of it is because I like the mixture of African music with kind of a funk feeling, R&B. I love that mixture. Once in a while you come across grooves or patterns that change your life in drumming. The pattern featured here on this song that we're using on the hi-hat was one of the patterns that changed my life. It's a very popular pattern, used a lot in Afro-Cuban music, but you can also adapt it into many different styles. Jazz, Latin jazz, and as you see here, Afro pop. Let's have a closer look at it. So I wanted to write something that you could play that pattern in a very simple way. I've adapted it here into this song because it has an Afro pop feeling and it works really well for the tune. One, two, three, four, five, six. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Now, there are a lot of songs that give you a basic 6/8 feel. This song in particular has like an Afro pop feeling. It's a little bit easier to play this way. And the basic groove that I'm doing is this. On the bass drum, you're going to play on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 while doing this pattern. So this is a basic groove. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Now, for the snare, to get the right feel, what you want to do is play on 1 every other bar. If you're counting like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? The whole thing sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? Pretty simple, and it's a great way to get used to playing this pattern. This pattern is something that I play all the time in lots of different jobs, so it's really good to get a grip on it, and this song gives you a chance to work that out. Six eight is one of the most elastic time signatures there is. It's lots of fun and very open to polyrhythmic and phrasing possibilities. On the B section of the tune here, you're going to notice the pattern that I'm doing. I'm basically doing it for color and to add to the song. But these types of grooves can lead to tons of independence exercises that can last for a very long time. So eventually you might want to check out some of the independence exercises I have here in the PDF section of this song. After all, this pattern, which is sometimes known as African Cascara, and also a part of Bembe and Abakwa styles or genres from Cuba, is one of the most challenging for drum set players in the sense of the independence of it. Now, one thing to check out is when you're counting this tune, when you're reading the chart, the time is going by like this. I'm going to count while the music is playing here for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the snare is going to hit on 4. I wrote it this way because it's easier to read. Ease of reading is very important when you're interpreting a chart. You don't want the reading to get in the way of the music. So whatever it takes from the arranger's side to facilitate reading and interpretation, that's usually what they're going to aim for. The interpretation and the musicality has to come from you, from your knowledge of the original pattern and what is intended by the composer of the song. In the end, the math of it is just math. This could easily be written in 12/8, but I like it like this because it gives you a sense of the original pattern. Of course, you have the section figure hits, the horn hits on the different parts of the tune, and you really need to check out what part of the chart that those are at. So let's have a look at the chart now and analyze what's going on. Our main inner clockwork comes from interpreting two types of figures. You have section figures and ensemble figures. In different sections of the tune, you're going to have one note ensemble figures and two note ensemble figures. One note ensemble figure means there's one note in a phrase that you have to interpret, and two note ensemble figure means there's two notes in the phrase. Then you have phrases that move around in the timeline. So you want to be real careful and watch the performance section as many times as it takes to see how I'm interpreting these figures. At the very top we have the time signature there, and you'll see an intro note on top of the first bar. And you have 4 bars at the top, 3 bars rest, and you're going to do a fill at the end of the 4th bar there. The next line, the drums come in. You're going to see in the middle of that line it says 4 times, so you want to repeat this section 4 times. Underneath the line you're going to see 3rd time strings in. This is a text marker in case you get lost. You're going to know the 3rd time that you play this, the strings are going to come in. And we have letter A. This is where the vocals come in. This section again we do 4 times, so it's 4 bars repeated 4 times. We move on to letter B. This is where your inner clockwork starts as ensemble figures. You're hitting on the 1. You can see there it says horn hits. You have a quarter note with an accent, that's basically 1. You're going to repeat this whole section. You move on to the next line and the figure is moved over to beat 2. You move on to the next line, you see measure 21. The figures get moved over to beat 3. Now we have letter C. This is the chorus of the tune. It's a little tricky here because we have a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th ending. You'll see on top of the staff there it says 4 times, but you have to pay attention to the endings. On the 4th ending we have a break on the and of 6. The drums tacit for 1 bar, then you do a fill on the next bar to go into letter D. At letter D we have the verse of the tune again. You can hit on beat 1, and then on the next line 2, and we move over to page 2. You'll see the notes are shifting around here. We have a hit on 1. 2 measures after that, the 3rd bar, the hit is on beat 2, and 1 measure after that we have the hit on beat 4. Going on to the next line, the 2nd bar, we have a hit on 3, and then the last bar of that line, a hit on 3 again. So just be careful, these figures are moving around now. It's a great inner clock workout to read this and hit these as precisely as you can. We move on to letter E. This is the chorus of the tune again. This section you do again 4 times. Hit on beat 1 in the 1st bar. You'll see underneath the line there, it says last time only on the 4th bar underneath the bar, and a crescendo marking. So that means you do the crescendo last time only on the 4th time you repeat this section. We move on to letter F. This is the bridge of the tune. Now just a little mental note, you have the DS sign there. This is where you want to come back to later. So bridge of the tune, you look at the 4th bar. You have a hit on 1 and 4. Now it's important to note that these are section figures. You interpret them differently than you do ensemble figures. And in general, the rule is section figures on top of the staff, ensemble figures in the middle of the staff. Check out the performance clip and see how I'm interpreting this here. The next line, you have a big hit on beat 1. Letter F basically has 8 bars, and there's repeat signs. So you just want to make another little mental note. You have the coda sign there. When we come back to this, you're going to skip to the coda. Letter G, this is the 2-figure section of your inner clockwork. So you have a hit on beat 1 and beat 4.
The next line, you have a hit on beat 2 and beat 5. On the third bar of that line, it goes back to 1 and 4. Now, on the next line, you have a hit on 1 and 5. On the next bar there, you have a hit on 4. On the next bar, you have a hit on 2. On the next bar, 1 and then 6. So be real careful of those sections. You basically have 2 note figures here. On the next line, we just have hits again on 3. So you want to be sure to watch the performance video here and see how I'm handling these phrases. We move on to letter H. At letter H, we have the marimba solo. You have 4 bars repeated 4 times. On the top of the staff, the number indicates how many times you repeat a section. If there's no number like this, you handle it like a normal repeat sign. Now, here at letter H, we have the DS sign. You'll see here at the end of the 4th bar, you have DS sign and it says DS al coda, all reps good. That means when you go to the DS sign, all the repeat markings that you're going to encounter are valid, so you do take them. In this case, it's very simple. Play the repeat signs with the figures that are written in there and go to the coda on the next page. At letter I, we have our drum solo section with figures. This is essential interlock work. To solo over figures is very important work you have to do. It really helps your reading and your time and your phrasing. So the first measure, letter I, you have a hit on 1. You solo, you hit the next figure. This is the and of 1. Go to the next line, you have 2. On the third bar of that line, the and of 2. Go to the next line, 3. The third bar of that line, and of 3. The next line, on 4. And then on the third bar, and of 4. On the next line, you have a hit on 5. And the third bar of that line, and of 5. On the next bar, you have a hit on 6. On the third bar, on the and of 6, and then on the last bar there, you have a crescendo. Now the drum solo continues here. You have a big hit on beat 1, and basically you just want to solo and catch as many of these figures as you can. Let's have a look at the drum solo section and watch it with the chart. That was the drum solo section. Now let's move on to letter J. At letter J, we have a vamp. You're going to notice we have figures inside the staff and section figures on top of the staff. At letter J, we also have a first ending and a second ending. So let's have a look how that works. On the second line, you'll see the first ending. You have some figures there that you have to hit and a crescendo marking. You get to the repeat sign, you go back to the top of letter J. You hit the figures again, but this time you skip the first ending, go to the second ending. Same thing with a crescendo marking. You move on to the next line, measure 129. You have a hit there on 1, and then the same type of section figures on the third and fourth bar. The next line, same type of thing. Now you're going to watch out for that fourth bar. Interpreting that maybe looks harder than it really is. Just watch how I do it in the performance clip. And we go to letter K. This is the outro, and the outro is basically the last verse of the song. We have some hits, ensemble figures on 1. On the third bar, on 1 again. On the next line, measure 141 on beat 2. And then on the third measure, on beat 2 again, we go to the next line, we go back to 1. And on the third bar, we hit on 2. On the last bar there, you're going to see it says fill. You fill through that whole bar and you hit the ending with the crescendo marking. That's the end of the tune. Let's go back to the studio now and check out what's left.
Soloing in this piece is particularly difficult because the figures are constantly changing. You know, you hit on 1, on the end of 1, on 2, end of 2. And what I like to do is kind of keep a vocabulary that's consistent with this genre. So if you don't have those chops together, you can do your normal chops until you analyze and get those other types of things together. The most important thing, though, is that you keep your solo flowing within those hits. All right, it's a really tough thing to make your solo flow while still catching all the figures. It's a very important thing, and we talked about in the arches system how to make your solos flow and how to think. So keep that in mind during the solo section. We have a beautiful singer on this track, so it's lots of fun to play.
Milani, and she lives in Europe, and she's the singer on the tune. Great, she's great lyricist. I don't know what she's saying in the song because it's in her language, but she tells me it's about telling someone goodbye. Don't come back to me, like breaking up with her boyfriend or something. Since I can't understand what she's talking about, it's just fun to play.
And that's 6/8 funk. Okay, here we go.
Want to study for real? It's a great time to join us on my lesson site. Only $200 gets you into the full year program, and if you're really burning to play, check out the Elite program with full support from me. Learn what the pros know. PhilMaturano.com